Hi, my name is Katie Jones, and I was a volunteer through a broad review in La Ceiba, Honduras, March 3rd through March 10th, 2017. And I was a volunteer here at two hospitals. One was an older hospital, and one was a newer hospital. My broad review coordinator the entire time was amazing. Everything was provided for us extremely well. So when we arrived at the airport, he was there to pick us up, stay with us the entire time. All the transportation was provided, so we never had any issues with that. All of our meals were cooked every day for us, so we had 3 meals, and they were all really good. So that was definitely a perk. And then during the day, he would take us to the hospitals, and he knows the staff very, very well. So he would place us with like the different sections of the hospital we were in. And I came with 4 of my good friends, and so we would always be split into groups of 2, and we would just go to different parts, whether it's like vaccinations or maternity or surgery or emergency. We were always in a pair, and he would place us. And the most surprising thing I experienced at the program was definitely the conditions of the old hospital. When you walk into the old hospital, the first day we walked in there was actually no power. And so we were having to take blood pressure and height and weight and doing all the vitals completely in the dark. And one of my good friends, when they arrived, they went to the bandage wound station, so it's called curaciones, and they actually had to take out stitches in the dark. So that was something definitely like new, and they used their iPhone flashlight to do that. So that was interesting. The most surprising thing at the accommodation was definitely how good the food was. I've traveled before and had issues with food at other places, but the food here was amazing. Like every day you wake up, you have a great meal. It's amazing food. You never go hungry. You come home for lunch every day around 12:30, and so you eat in between your 2 shifts, and you can go back to the hospital. In my case, I did Spanish lessons in the afternoon, so I would come eat and then take a rest, and then I would have a Spanish lesson for the afternoon. The most surprising thing about the country was definitely like my expectation when I came here. I read a lot on the internet about Honduras and the violence and just like how cautious you have to be. But when you get here, that just wasn't the case, and everyone was so loving, so sweet. Some days we would say like, hey, let's go to Dunkin' Donuts, because there's actually Dunkin' Donuts like right down the road. So we would just walk together. I had a group of 4, and one was a guy, and 3 girls, and we were always safe. We were never scared. I was never in danger. Raphael had a few like 2 guys, one named Henry that was always with us, and he took us rafting, and he was just always there. So it was never dangerous at all, and I never felt like I was in a bad position. And we could take taxis wherever we went, and so yeah, we went to the beach one day and rafting, and definitely I felt very safe here. So that was surprising, considering like what I read online about Honduras. The most difficult thing to experience in the program was I was placed in curaciones a few days, and mostly because I wanted to be there, but it was definitely the most difficult experience. Kids would come in with broken arms, have like severe infections. Their rod would be like sticking out of their arm, and just like green pus would be all around, and just like severely infected. Men would come in, and just have like open wounds, and we'd have to scrub them with soap. And usually you would use like more sterile soap, and they would use like dial soap to scrub. So it was difficult to experience and like see like how much pain they were in when you were scrubbing it, because usually you would use like lidocaine injections to numb it before you did that, and here you don't. So it was definitely difficult to experience that, but I loved it, and getting to see like the difference in healthcare between America and in Honduras was something I was just not expecting to really grasp that much. And as far as the accommodation, what was difficult about it, there was really nothing difficult about it. It's a huge house, very clean. The bathrooms are great, showers are great. There was really nothing difficult about it at all. Like actually every morning you wake up and you have a meal ready for you at the table, so it's not bad at all. So I came with 4 friends, but 3 friends, and then including my 3 and then me, and my roommate was a girl that was already here doing the program, and so we actually got to know each other, and she was amazing, and we just actually said bye because I'm leaving today, but yeah, like we got to know each other, and she's from a completely different state. She's a graduate student, so getting to meet her and hear her life view, and watching her go through the same experiences as I was, it was a great experience, and I loved every second of it. The most difficult thing to experience about the country was definitely that it was really hot. I am from Texas. I go to Baylor, so I'm used to the heat, but here it's just a different kind of hot, and especially when you're working in a hospital all day, sweating, trying to clean wounds, when there's no air conditioning, it can get pretty rough as far as like trying to listen to people's blood pressure and pulse when it's extremely hot. It's just something that I'm not used to doing. So that was interesting, and also like lack of electricity in the hospitals too sometimes. That was definitely difficult to experience, and just getting to see the patients like be so normalized to that, coming to go get treatment with no electricity and no AC was interesting. Any tips for future volunteers? As far as clothing, it does get really hot, so make sure to bring light clothes and mini scrubs because they will get really dirty. As I said before, I worked in Curaciones, so I was constantly cleaning wounds. So sometimes I would get just like blood and like gross body fluids on me, and like you have to be okay with that. You know, we would always wear gloves, but you know, when you peel a bandage off, stuff happens. So definitely bring a lot of scrubs because they will get dirty. Like I wore 2 a day, so I was here for a week. So yeah, bring a good 10 pair of scrubs because you'll need it. Also bring a swimsuit because there's a beach and it's really pretty. Donations. So I came with 3 other volunteers, but we did like a GoFundMe account and we raised $700 through GoFundMe. And then we went to, I live in Houston, so we went to a local medical supply place and we were talking to them about like what I was doing and where I was going and what we were trying to get supplies for with this $700, and they were more than happy to just donate supplies to us. So like normally stethoscopes would be like say $50, $60. They would give it to us for like $22, and like gauze pads, like they really weren't selling much. If they had extra, they would just give to us. So definitely consider doing that. We brought a ton of supplies. They needed it a lot. Working in the bandage wound station, they needed supplies like really, really bad. So we would clean wounds, and sometimes you would run out of antibiotics or gauze, or we like ran out of soap. And so definitely just think of those things when you're coming, because if you bring it, it will help. Like it's not going to go to waste. As far as tips for weather, it is really hot. Bring hats, deodorant, small fan for your room. He has a fan for you if you just want it to be like cooler at night. Bring a fan. Don't bring jeans or jackets. Like you will not need them ever. Other things that volunteers should know. I would highly advise you to take the Spanish immersion lessons. So I came here and I feel like I'm in an intermediate, at an intermediate range with Spanish, but when you get into the hospitals, really no one speaks English at the old hospital. So with like the nurses in Curaciones, they don't speak English. So definitely think about that when you're coming, and if you want to take Spanish lessons, if you're here for longer, I would advise doing that, because one of the women that the woman that teaches the Spanish lessons, just listening to the way she says different things like helps you pick up that like language barrier and tone, and so you can better understand the nurses while you're in the clinic. And then bring extra food like snacks, beef jerky. So you do have 3 meals a day provided for you, but sometimes you'll just get like really hungry when you're out like at the clinic, or like your blood sugar will drop. Also, kids sometimes will come in crying. They don't want to be at the doctor, so like I brought little fruit snacks and I would give it to them. And, they makes them stop crying, makes it easier to clean their wounds. I would highly advise you to bring like a journal to, and maybe like a laptop or a book, because in the evenings he has like this beautiful balcony that you can sit on, and like hammocks, and like you just want to take time to relax and think about your day. And of course, like you might have like a culture shock for a little bit, being like, wow, like look at where I'm at, and like look at what I'm learning. So you definitely want to take time to reflect and journal and read, or just definitely like research things too. A lot of things I would see in the hospital and be like, what is that? Like what did that patient have? And I would research about it. So my Abroad Review program testimonial, can I just read it? I think I'm just going to read my testimonial. So, I've never been so humbled and shocked at the same time. Walking into the old hospital the first day, we were confronted with no electricity and having to take care of patients with minimal lights and no power. It was extremely loud, and trying to take vitals on pregnant mothers was nearly impossible with the heat and the loudness. Patients were packed in the hallways, and it was extremely hot. I never really realized how blessed we are in America to have such a great healthcare system where access to healthcare is easy and the sanitation is always sterile. And the next day in Curaciones, I saw numerous girls at the age of 15 and below coming in to have their stitches removed from their C-sections. And it would just blow my mind that girls that young are experiencing this. Multiple young children came in with broken arms and broken legs that had severe infections in their wounds. One young boy around the age of 5 had an infected toe so bad that when we scrubbed it with soap and water, he didn't really even flinch or jerk because the skin was so rotten that he just didn't really feel it. Another man had a severe condition that caused his skin to boil up and create large, like 4-inch open wounds to his muscles, but the man refused medicine treatment because he did not want to give up drinking alcohol in order for his medicine to be effective. However, perhaps the most astonishing moment came during my Spanish class during one of the evenings. Our Spanish professor, Senora Rocio, was opening up to us about the poverty in La Ceiba and the experiences that she has had over the years. She told us about her father that had been diagnosed with esophageal cancer about a year ago. With only 2 cancer hospitals in all of Honduras, she said that they did not have any opportunities with obtaining treatment. However, they decided to travel to Tegucigalpa, to one of the cancer hospitals. And they got there, they spoke to the doctors about her father's condition, and they waited for treatment and camped out all day and all night. However, no beds ever became available for them. So they had to go back. So her father passed away from cancer 6 months later because of the lack of availability of health care. So there was treatment available, but there was no beds available for him. So he passed away because of it. So if you're wondering whether you want to come on this trip or not, let me advise you that you will not regret this experience. There's so much help needed here. There's so much you can do, whether it's needing more gauze or more antibiotics or tape or soap or anything. Like, your help is needed. So I would highly advise you to come and make an impact here in La Ceiba. How I would describe my accommodation, my meal security. As I said before, the accommodation is wonderful. I feel so safe here. His house has like a large gate around it, so you never feel in danger. You never feel like anything is gonna, like there's nothing ever bad that can happen. So it's very secure. And even in the hospitals, you're constantly with like either a partner or the nurses are constantly around you. You can take taxis everywhere. You learn here once you get here about like the right taxis. But Rafael provides most of the transportation to and from the hospitals every day. Unless you just want to like go to the mall or something, then you can like take a taxi if you want. But yeah, it's extremely secure. And as I said before, the meals are wonderful. Our cook Marie is extremely good at cooking, so you'll never go hungry or anything. So it's great. My favorite memory of this trip was watching a C-section in surgery the first day I was in surgery. And they didn't really tell us about like the condition the mother had beforehand, but she was a Jehovah's Witness, so she was wanting to carry the baby full term, but she was diabetic, so she had polyhydramniosis, which means that she has like an extremely high level of amniotic fluid, so that's really bad for the baby. So she was wanting to carry the baby full term, didn't come up for checkups till way later. And so when the baby was born, it had like a severe breathing problem. So when we got to watch the C-section, it was really fast. They just like ripped it open really fast and got the baby legs first out, head got stuck, and they like laid it down. It wasn't breathing for a while, and they were tapping on it, trying to get it to wake up and get the blood flowing, and it just wasn't. And it was really scary to watch that, considering I wanted to go into gynecology for the longest time of my life, so I shadowed a lot there. But yeah, it was really just interesting to see. And then they brought it into the incubator, and just nothing was going right. The baby was limp, and it didn't have reflexes. It got brain damage, but yeah. And so it was definitely my favorite memories was just getting to see that. And then, like at the end of the week, we went back, and the baby was doing great. It was breathing, and it was doing great, and it was about to go home. So getting to see that transformation was amazing. Oh yeah, and also working in Curaciones is also one of my favorite memories. Just getting to check out stitches from patients was really cool. My favorite thing about the country was during the first week when we were here, one of our tour guides named Henry, who was really close with Rafael, said, "Hey, let's go rafting." And I thought like, oh sure, like a small little river. No. We went an hour deep into the jungle. They drove us out there in some Jurassic Park looking Jeep. It was incredible. It took us down this mountain. I was scared to death because I was like, where am I? Like, what's going on? But it was the most beautiful place. Had these big rafts. The rapids were pretty big. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, we went rafting for about 2 hours. It was great, and they took us back up the mountain. There was this hidden gym, a resort up there that a lot of foreigners come and stay at during like their stay in Honduras, and it was great. But yeah, so we ate dinner, and Henry was there, and wonderful food. But yeah, then they just drove us home that night. We got home pretty late, but it was one of my favorite things. And I mean, we were completely immersed in their nature. And a lot of the people that were rafting with us didn't speak any English, so it was interesting to have like that barrier, trying to overcome the language barrier with them. As far as the Abroad Review USA support prior to traveling with communication, they answered all my questions. I was never lost. I was never confused. Very clear cut. Really everything was so provided for us. Like, we were just told, someone would pick us up from the airport, our coordinator would, and sure enough, we showed up at the airport, and Raphael was there, and it was great. He speaks a lot of English, so it's very easy to communicate with him if you have any concerns at all, and he's with us in the house the entire time, so yeah, it was never an issue. As far as me, website information as well, yeah, all the information was presented true and accurate, so it was never an issue. Am I willing to speak to other volunteers about the program? Absolutely. So I am a Baylor student, so I am always willing to help other students that are wanting to go and figure out if they have a passion for medicine or what they're wanting to do. So absolutely, if you can just email me. And then I found out about Abroad Review through online. I was just researching like medical mission trips and wanting to get involved, and once I found like the program, I thought like, oh, that's really cool, and so then I found like 3 friends at Baylor, and I just like put something on like my sorority page, and then put something like out with my roommates and my other friends, and sure enough, I got three great friends to come with me, and we all raced supplies together, and it was wonderful. So yes, if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. But yeah, I highly advise you to come to Honduras and immerse yourself in the culture and to just absorb everything that you can and just completely learn about medicine and just see it for yourself.
Thank